Hey now, it's Ruben with Help Find the Others. How's everyone doing? I know it's been a while, as usual, but I'm still grateful for everyone that's still tuned in to what I'm putting out there, and for anyone finding this in the future, I'm grateful that you found this as well. Um, you know, I wanted to make a video. It's been a couple weeks now, but I wanted to make a video to talk about my sweat lodge experience that I had a couple weeks ago. Now, so this year I've been very lucky and very grateful to um, have, I consider everyone on our Discord server that we, talk with friends, right? But, we're all over the world. And I wish we could all meet in person, and someday maybe we will. Um, but this year I've been very grateful to. Um, I've met a couple of you in the real world, um, and strengthen our friendships, right? Um, and so one of those people is Rich, or Dr. Richard Waterloo, or Cancer Merchant from the Discords, and um, he recently moved out to the country during the pandemic. I think he moved last year, but um, and he's been really working on his property um, to be like kind of a permaculture type of thing, and he's very into hosting people out there, and so he's been doing sweat lodges, and I think he started doing this from another friend at someone else's house, and then when he moved uh, um, out to the country, he kind of picked a specific spot just for that, to have people over to have these sweat lodges, and he's invited me probably 20 times, and it just never works out that I that I could make it. I only live like an hour from him, but it's just schedules never sync up, and always something, something scheduling wise where I'm like, oh, I can't make it, but finally a couple weeks ago I was uh, able to go, and it was pretty awesome, and I definitely hope to go again, and it's something that I will probably try to establish, a regular use of, um, at least up at my place in New York, and kind of put an area in for that. Um, so anyway, like I'll just go through the experience. I got there, and one of the other guys that was going to be doing it, I had met before when I donated a windmill to Rich's farm, and he had get together, a cookout to raise the windmill, and so I had met his one friend at that time and talked a little, but there was a lot of people there, so it was good to get to know him a little more in this more intimate, sweat lodge kind of experience. And then another guy who I don't think I had ever met before. So it was just four of us, and when I got there, they were messing with chainsaws, and being an arborist, I'm always like, oh man, what's going on with chainsaws over there, and kind of saddle up and figure out what's going on. And so there was a big dead ash tree uh, overhanging the where the sweat lodge was, and Rich had been trying to get rid of it for a while. So we started out cutting a tree down, um, and it was a pretty sketchy. I mean, part of my job is doing like safety observations on trees, or crews cutting trees down, and it was pretty interesting to be a part of a very unsafe tree removal. And I waited till the tree was on the ground to tell his friend that was operating the saw that, oh, by the way, I'm a tree risk assessment qualified arborist, and I do safety observations for the utility company, but good job, So that was kind of funny. But that came down, and Uh, Everything was fine, so there was no problems there. I just thought that was a funny start to the night. And then it had been raining like all day, super muddy, and so we put up a tarp to like sit under because part of it is you have a fire to heat up the stones that you put in the sweat lodge. So we put up a tarp, started the fire, and sat down and just had really good discussion and stuff like that. We one of them brought mushroom chocolates, so we ate a little bit of that. They were a little bit more than a microdose. I mean, uh, I wasn't gonna like take like a full tripping dose on my first experience doing this. Next time I think I will. Just I didn't know how I would handle it. Now I'm used to the sauna, like I said, I have in my house, and I use it almost every night, and it's a big part of my like um, health and wellness regimen. But this is different, this is different, and um, the steam component, and then other, sitting in a close quarters with other dudes in their underwear, which adds, anxiety. Just something I needed to experience and evaluate without a head full of mushrooms first, at least. Um, but I am glad that I took, the microdose. I think that kind of added to it a little. But it would definitely be a good situation once you're used to it to dive in a little deeper, I think. Um, so anyway, like right about the time that started rolling and you could feel the microdose, um, it was time to get in the lodge. So basically, what he has is like like an octagon or half dome jungle gym kind of thing, and you cover it with blankets and then a tarp, um, and then you make sure like there's no light coming in at all. Which is already, even all the other stuff aside, that's already different from my cross training or whatever you want to call it in the infrared sauna. Is I actually have like a light that like kind of changes through color patterns and is supposed to do something for your stress levels. I don't know, but I mean I'm used to having light and seeing. Um, so and then there's blankets on the ground and stuff like that. But we've been like sitting in the mud getting rained on, so it was already kind of cold. So I was like looking forward to getting in the sweat lodge to like warm up because it was pretty cold out. So we got in, and we shovel like 2 or 3, 4, whatever rocks into this pit in the middle, and we're all just kind of sitting around it, and we're like hunched over, like you can't even really sit up straight. And there was 4 of us in there. I think they've had more, but it would be kind of close quarters. So this was kind of the perfect amount of people. But I'd be down to do it with more people, but you're definitely getting friendly, you know. So anyway, you put the rocks in the middle, and they're glowing orange, right? And so that's the only light. It's just this pile of rocks, and you're looking at them, and they're starting to like sparkle a little, and you can see like the seams of heat like running through them, and that was definitely enhanced by the mushroom chocolates, but that was pretty cool to just sit there and just kind of watch that. And then Rich gets in. He has like a pail of water, and he shuts the tarp behind him, so there's no more light at all. And then he starts just dumping water on, and as soon as the first blast of water hits, the steam just envelops you, and like it was a very interesting experience to breathe that in. I've been in a steam sauna before, but this is such close quarters that like you're just swimming in the steam, and to breathe it in was a very interesting experience. His one friend was telling me about it, that it's like shocking and like scares people. So I was a little freaked out, like, oh man, is it like burn or whatever? So I was a little afraid. But like that first inhale, I was like, oh, I actually really like that. Like it just felt very purifying of your lungs and nasal passages and throat and stuff like that. And because of the rocks and it's a very muddy, rainy. It's next to a creek. It just felt like you were just breathing in nature, physically. It felt like you were breathing in warm, hot, living creek and mud, and that may sound bad, but I mean I mean that in the best way possible. I mean, it felt very good. And then by the time he's dumped the whole thing on, you can't see in there, and I would love to see what it looked like, honestly, because I mean it was so thick, and it just envelops you, just that same earth, creek, mud feeling, fire, water, sky, whatever, the four things. I mean, it's going through your pores and out your other pores, and you're just enveloped in it. It was a really cool experience, and then as it's just sitting there in it, just basting in it, it does feel very, very hot, obviously. I don't know temperature wise, like if you had a thermometer in there. I think, like, I run my infrared sauna at 140, and after you've been in there in a while and the infrared really starts cooking you, it feels a lot hotter than actually this did. But the steam was this whole other immersive component that really pushed you. I mean, it, like, I'm not one to bail, but I could see how someone after a little bit would be like, okay, I gotta get out. Like, like it really felt like you were kind of cooking, like from the outside instead of the inside. I'm used to feeling like I'm cooking from the inside with the infrared sauna. And then, like, once you get to that point, you got a good rolling sweat on, like you're done, to where this is just like your skin. I mean, it felt, like your skin was cooking. And so every now and then I would, like, lay down on the bottom on the blankets, and you were like under, at least the thickest part of the steam level. And that was really refreshing. And then I would, like, kind of psych myself up and sit back up into the steam, stick my hands, like, the higher you went up, obviously the hotter it was and the thicker it was. And so I was doing that. We did, after the water was gone, we just sat in silence. Like, I'm sure, I think the sweat lodge kind of ceremony, comes from, like, Native American culture, and I think they probably chant and bang drums maybe. I'm not sure. I've would like to experience that, I guess, but I don't know too much about, like, what the tradition is, and it was probably different for every tribe and every different group and whatever. So this wasn't that. This was a communal meditation of some sorts, basically. But after the sizzle of the water is done and we were just sitting in it, the sounds of nature really came live outside, and added to that whole earthy, immersive nature of it. It just felt like everything I'm in right here, it just felt like I was breathing it in, and it was going in and out of my pores, and all the noises and birds and crickets and whatever, and that was just really awesome. And then after, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes maybe. I mean, it's, one of those kind of meditation things where, like, I don't know how long it was, and I'm glad I didn't, honestly, and, but you would see the rocks glow kind of dying down, and then Rich was like, want to open the door for a minute, so we would open the door and then get the fresh air, which was very, very, very refreshing. And then we would sit and talk for a minute, pass the bowl around, then got some more rocks, put them in, did it again. I think we did 3 rounds. And I probably could have done another more, but because of the rain and everything, we got started a little later than we wanted to, and cutting the tree down and stuff. And I hadn't eaten it all that day, and really needed water to drink. I mean, it just sweat, like crazy in there. It's hard to tell because it's so, like, steamy. And I would have done another one, but everyone else wanted to stop as well, and I was like, okay, good, like kind of thing. Um, and then we got dressed and went, and his wife had made dinner, and we ate and hung out a little bit, and then left. And I mean, it was just awesome. I really, um, definitely will hope that my schedule syncs up more whenever he does it. Um, he likes to do it around kind of equinoxes and full moons and whatnot, which I think is a really good idea. Like, I really like having the easy modern infrared sauna in my house that I can just go in as part, before I take a shower at night, and it's just part of my, like I said, my health and wellness routine and stuff like that. And I think that like heat exposure physically is very good for you. I've heard Rogan talk about it with heat shock proteins and all that stuff, and I definitely think that's true. I've definitely seen that improvement in inflammation and just overall uh, uh, pain, flexibility, youthfulness. Um, it's really helped having a regular heat exposure. But I think to take and obviously the Sweat Lodge does all of that and then some, because the spiritual, mental aspect, the communal nature, all the other components outside of the heat and steam, um, is so beneficial as well. And not like I'm saying you could do this every day, but yeah, doing it every full moon, once a month, or like doing it at important times of the year and times of life and stuff like that. I think it's really good, and obviously a lot cheaper than than having a sauna in your house. Because while I'm touting the infrared sauna, I understand that that's not something that everyone's going to buy for themselves. Um, and so, look into the Sweat Lodge thing, because this is something everybody could make. I mean, even if you didn't have the playground apparatus that Rich got his hands on, you can make this with sticks and stuff like that. And that's probably how the more traditional ceremonies go. And I think there's something to that we put the blankets on and made the pit and then take it all down. I think there's something to that aspect of it and the communal temporary nature of it. So maybe even one that's made with sticks, and then after the ceremony you just burn those on the fire too. I don't know, like maybe that would be even more symbolic kind of component to a Sweat Lodge ceremony. But anyway, I'm just rambling now. It was a really cool experience. I think it's important to do things, let alone the heat. And I think what the heat represents is it's important to do things that push you out of your comfort zone, physically, socially, everything. There's a lot of people like even my wife was like, what are you doing? Who is this guy? Who are the other guys? Do you guys have underwear on? Like that kind of thing, where it's just like it can sound so weird, but it is so beneficial, and it is such a break from the mainstream. There aren't many people doing sweat lodges with random guys or whatever that they meet off the internet. So it's I'm really glad that I was finally able to do this and take that plunge and step outside my comfort zone. Like I said, I was worried like it was gonna be too intense and I'd puss out, or that like I would just be in my head and have social anxiety and not be able to get into it. And maybe that was the benefit of the microdose too, is like to just kind of strip all that aside and just focus on the moment. That's possible too, but I think I had worked myself up to a point to be able to do things like this. And then also having the sauna experience at my house like helped me. Like I was like, okay, I think I can handle the heat. The steam's gonna be weird, the darkness is gonna be weird, but other than that, I think I can handle it. So yeah, I'm just really glad I did it. Really grateful to have the opportunity, and I look forward to doing it again. Um, I'm grateful to have made friends with Rich, and that he's able to give this opportunity to myself and other people. Um, I think when we are blessed with the ability to do such things, land and all the stuff that he has to put this together. Um, the most important part about that is sharing it with others, and I'm really grateful that he does that and values that. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Do things that kind of weird you out. Do things that kind of scare you. Do things that you think you may not be able to, and you will find that you grow from those, and that you receive more benefit than you thought possible from them. And this is just another one of those experiences, much like I pushed myself to stay in the hostel and have that experience. And honestly, that has changed my life and given me a new direction and stuff like that. And uh, I think over time, the Sweat Lodge experience will prove to be more of the same there. So hope everyone's staying well, stay weird, stay safe, stay sane. Thanks for helping find the others.